some children who have had a lot of challenges, and we want to welcome Randy and Sarah Page are here, and their son Ayden, 16 months old now, right? Is that right? And let's kind of go back to the beginning and tell us when you first knew that something was going on with Ayden.
In January of this year, he had inconsolable pain and then it eventually passed blood, which sent us here very quickly. And it ended up being what's called an intussusception, which is basically his bowels telescoping into themselves. It's an emergency situation. And they weren't able to free that up without surgery, and then his first surgery failed. So long story short, he ended up having to have 3 different surgeries on an emergency basis. And we were scared to death through every one of them. But the people
How old was he at the time, if he's only 16
He was
months
6 months old at the time.
Wow.
But the people here are they're just so incredible about putting it's a fearful situation, but they're real good about kind of calming your fears and just so experienced and educated in their field. We were in good hands, and ours is a very happy story in the long run.
Yeah, they're good at taking care of the parents and the family along with the child that's going through all the trauma as it is. But
So you brought him in because he was wearing himself out from crying, and you were concerned about the blood, and then they sat down and told you he's going to need surgery.
right, exactly. They just did basically a once-over on looking at him in regards to what his symptoms were, and the doctor down in the emergency room was just real quick on, here's what it is, we'll have to run tests to make sure, but this is what we think it is, and it's real quick. I mean, when we first came in, it happened really fast, what was going on, being diagnosed and taking us up to surgery.
You mean, how quick was that? Just
Within a couple of hours.
Yeah.
We were diagnosed probably within 20 minutes or half an hour, and then they had to make sure, but we were up in surgery within 2 to 3 hours. And
It's good to know that they can do it that quickly, so that
Yes.
you're not sitting there wondering
Right.
for days on end.
Right, what does he have? And no, we were fortunate that they were able to figure it out real quick and go right from there.
and you just received great care from this hospital. I mean, because you've encountered so many different people here, right?
Right. I mean, we came in through one door and went out a different one, but in regards to the buildings as well.
We ended up in PQ eventually because of the different surgeries.
You said the exploratory surgery was the worst. Why was that?
Because at that point, just not knowing until they did that, not knowing what was going to happen and how severe his problems were going to be.
Well, plus the first one was like it happened so fast, and then they diagnosed him. We went right through everything, and they walked us right through. The second one was he'd already been in here 24 hours under observation, and then he started having other symptoms and basically had started vomiting. And they're like, "We've got to go in now. We're not sure what we're facing, but we're going in for surgery." And that's why it was scary for us at that time. We didn't know what was going to go on, how bad he was. We found out later that he was in really bad shape when he went on the second surgery, but they pulled him right through that one just as good as the first one. So.
How is he handling everything now? What's
Oh
Ayden like
God,
today?
it's like he's making up for lost time.
Keeping you
We've heard
busy?
that from more than one family.
Yeah.
Because he has older twin brothers too, right?
Yes.
7-year-old
Yes.
twin brothers.
Well, and Blake and Dane are their names, and the emergency room doctor's sons' names are Blake and Dane.
Oh,
What are
really?
the chances of
No,
that?
exactly.
Jeez.
We knew we were in good hands when just the things coming
Yeah.
through.
It's one of those cases of he's healthy, he's really healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chasing after his older brothers now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrorizing them and the cat and everybody around him. So
Well,
he's doing really well.
what would you like to say to the staff here at St. John's?
Oh, thank you. There's so many specific people we'd like to thank individually, which we don't have time for, but just overall, they're so professional and so well educated and yet so empathetic.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
I just thank you for being here and taking care of everybody that was in here.
That's one thing that we hear about the staff here too, is that it's never that they're, speaking in a different language or speaking all of this medical jargon to you when you're the most scared. The thing we hear over and over and over again is they just kept us calm, let us know they were going to do everything they could to make everything okay, and that's all as a parent that you
Right. You just
need to know.
You just want information and knowing that somebody's caring about it when they're with your child when you can't be. I mean, in the surgeries and things like that, we can't be there, but we knew they were in good hands, or he was in good hands when they went.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great.
544 Kids is the phone number. Your chance to help out Ayden and parents like Randy and Sarah and just make a difference in these lives of these kids, because having this hospital here is so important. 544 Kids. It's the WDBR Cares for Kids Radiothon, brought to you by CEFQ on DBR.